everyone, welcome back to Sonographers in the Cities. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm Lynn.
And I'm Giselle.
We are so thankful to have you tune in and hope that our podcast has been helpful and fun to you because it has been fun to us. And I'm so grateful for Giselle for waking up at 5 a.m. to do this.
Oh,
You're
East
crazy.
Coast. Thank you so much for having me up this early. Look at you, bright-eyed and beautiful. Have you guys noticed anything different about her? For those that are watching the video.
I just got my eyebrows done.
She looks so good. They're microbladed, right?
They are, and they're very itchy and
look
resisting.
Really good. They look really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, she's over there in the East Coast. For those of you guys who are new here, Lynn's in New York and I'm in Nevada. I live in Las Vegas. She's going to school out there, and I apologize if I sound funny because I have a cold right now. And
because she's been on a cruise for like the past week.
No, yeah. So I was on a cruise. I went on the Disney cruise last week, but I got sick actually a week after I got back. So I went back to work on Saturday and I had Sunday and Monday off because of Justin Bieber. And literally we were supposed to see Justin Bieber Sunday. He canceled Vegas tour because he got COVID. Apparently.
I heard about that.
Yeah. And then I got sick that night. And I was like, oh my God, me and Justin Bieber were sick at the same time. But, I think it's just a cold. Vegas has been really cold lately. I think it's cold and allergies combined because it's really windy and it snowed yesterday.
That's so crazy because it was 65 here yesterday.
Yeah.
It was like spring.
Yeah, what the heck? You literally gave us your weather. Because I remember it was snowing over there for you guys too.
Yeah.
But
weird.
That's what I've been up to. It was so much fun, but
I think it's very common because you were in where did you go? Florida?
Yeah,
or like
Florida.
The Caribbean?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's like a weather change that causes, because I feel like that's a common.
It could be, yeah. I don't know. It was weird. Like Sunday night. I mean, I was fine Sunday morning when I got off of work. And then I went to meet up with my friend who visited from Sacramento. She flew in for the day and we went to have breakfast. I was so tired. I went home, slept. I woke up and I was fine. But then at night, all of a sudden I got stuffy nose. And then the next day I was just, oh my gosh, my throat was so dry. But it's okay. Been taking medicine, drinking lots of water, trying to catch up. It's just crazy because this is the last week of my first term in school. I'm going, for those of you who don't know, I'm getting my healthcare management MBA degree. And when I came back last week, I finished 3 papers, straight up. When I came, we spent hours on end in the library every day. So last week I finished my last class. And so this week, thank you. And this week was supposed to be just a week off, and look at me sick. I literally haven't been wanting to do anything. I've been trying to catch up with social media and just, edit some videos, but I have no energy.
You're doing too much. Relax.
I know. So now this week I'm just literally doing nothing, just binge watching TV shows. But Lynn also has some good news today too.
I finished the first half of my clinical, so I'm done with my 4th quarter. So I have 3 quarters left. And I'm done with vascular and I'm moving on to echo. So I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. Congratulations. I can't believe it. I'm halfway done. You're halfway done.
I'm 1 year through my program.
That's insane. I mean, I've been seeing your videos. They're so cool.
Thank you. I try. It's just the last week I had clinicals 4 days because of these weird conversion days that my school has, and 4 days of clinicals, 1 day of 2 finals, my lab finals and my didactic finals. And then on the weekends, we had friends came into the city, so we were out and I went to a comedy club. I think that's a thing in New York, apparently, living here almost 3 years, and I didn't know. I was out till 1 a.m. Never happens recently. And on Sunday, I woke up at 10:30 woke up, ate lunch, went back to sleep at 1, woke up at 4,
Wow.
ate dinner, and went back to sleep at 8.
At least you went back to sleep.
I
I'm
was
that
so
busy.
tired on Sunday. I was so tired on Monday, which is President's Day. I had off, thank God, because I was just sleeping the entire day. I slept the entire day on Tuesday, which is my normal day off. And I was like, I was
Wow.
exhausted last week.
Yeah. You've
But
been really
yesterday was
busy.
my last day of clinicals. It was a bittersweet day. I was happy to be done so that I can move on. But I was sad to leave because they're a great team. If you've seen my post, those are these sonographers that helped me improve my skills,
Yeah.
and they taught me so much. And the team's very like a family vibe. And one of them cried when I left. I was like, no, don't cry.
Wow.
But the funny thing is that she's also the instructor in my school, and I'm like,
Oh.
I see you next week.
Oh, but it's like it just shows the bonds that you get,
Yes.
especially as a student and your preceptors and your mentors and stuff.
Yes.
And they teach you everything. Like
They taught me all they knew.
yeah. So now
Hopefully I can make them proud
you
later.
will. You will. I know you will. It's the thing that's
Oh,
like
thank
when you come into this, a lot of times you're like, I'm afraid I'm not gonna know, right?
Yes.
But then they literally teach you everything. And look at you now. You're like halfway done, and I'm sure
Look at
you know
me
a lot.
now. I can do a full carotid study that I was so scared of the
Yay!
first time.
I remember that was your first patient.
My first patient was a 92-year-old woman, a carotid
Yep.
study. My last patient was a 91-year-old man with a very tortuous carotid.
That's okay.
And I did the full study, and I was like, yes,
I love that.
if I can take anything out of the clinicals, it's like I did one full study.
The thing is, like, I'm like when I was a student, and I remember my mentor telling me, like, be thankful for the hard ones because they just make the easier ones easier.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. That's awesome. I can't believe you started and ended with carotids.
Right. I was like, I love carotids now. It's like
I love carotids.
maybe I think I remember you saying like you're the extremities person, like you love lower extremities. That's carotids for me.
Well, I just think that
because it's the first thing that I was comped on.
yeah, that's the thing too. The first thing that I was like confident in was venous extremities, and you are comfortable with what you know, I think.
Yeah.
One of my coworkers, she was like comfortable with OBGYN. Like that was the one thing she was like most confident in. And she's always like, I'll do the pelvic, I'll do the pelvic. And I'm like, you can have the pelvic because I'll do the venous, I'll do the venous, but it's kind of cool to know that you're really confident because then that like just boosts your morale when you do other things. And it will obviously you have your tough days, but then when you get them, you're like, yeah, I did that. So congratulations, Kayla, you're done.
Thank you. Yeah, my next site is an outpatient. I heard many interesting things about them.
I'm excited for that.
It's outpatient, and apparently one of the sonographers who used to work there was working at my previous clinical site, and she's like, she had 25 patients a day. So I'm kind of like, I'm keeping an open mind.
Wow.
But when you have that much patience, I don't know how much learning I can do, but we'll see. And I will keep you guys updated.
Yeah, can't wait to hear about that. Outpatient is a whole nother beast. And obviously, 25 patients is a lot. And obviously, an outpatient, you're going to have the, appointment based schedule. Yes. So that's going to be exciting to hear because you're going from hospital to outpatient.
Yes.
I do know that one interesting thing that I found is that at your hospital, you guys did you did clips, right? Like cine clips. And I was talking to you about it before because I was like, we don't do that unless like we really need to do that. But you said you do it with every image.
Everything. It's funny because every time I do the protocol, I think of you asking me that question. I was like, this is a lot of memory.
It is a lot.
Every single thing.
It's like echo is all Sydney's, right? Because it's all live, right? You got to see it beating in real time. But like for us, we don't we don't ever use that unless we really, really need to show or prove something, which is fine. But like people know when you do one because like your exam on our packs will show like a zillion images, and they're like, why are they taking a zillion images? You know, 'cause usually you'll have a few, not that many, but then when you do the cine, it's like hundreds of images, and you're like, something's going on with that patient.
Yeah.
But you guys
But
do it with
yeah, our
every patient.
protocols do with every patient.
Okay.
I know like lower extremity arterial is 86 images, but it's actually clips. So it's like transverse clip, color clip, sag clip, just everything is clip. I just find it like, now that you pointed out to me, I was like, I just find it fascinating.
Well, that's why I bring it up, is because I'm wondering if the outpatient place does it. Do they do clips?
You
Or
mean
is
like my
it
next site?
Yeah, do you
I
know?
mean, it's echo. I'm not sure.
Oh, you're doing echo, solely
Yeah.
echo outpatient? Okay.
They're echo and vascular, so I'll see about their vascular.
Perhaps.
It's also I went from a hospital setting of outpatient and inpatient. This one is outpatient private practice.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Interesting. Interested to see how it goes. That's exciting.
Yes.
And I like that they're letting you see both aspects, because I was just in the hospital the whole time. Yeah.
Me too.
What if you end up
see.
liking the outpatient more
An
than the hospital?
outpatient?
Because I know, didn't you say you'd rather you're looking?
I wanted
towards
to do
hospital?
outpatient.
Yeah.
And then I liked inpatient. What was the question? Did I like outpatient or did I like inpatient?
In the beginning, I remember we talked about it. One of our very first episodes, you said you were expecting to do outpatient, but then you did hospital and you actually liked the hospital setting.
Inpatient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the hospital. Yeah. So we'll see. What if you like outpatient now?
Maybe
More.
we'll see.
You know,
I think also the fact that the hospital setting and private practice, maybe there's a difference, but we'll see the pros and cons in that as well.
Yeah. And their protocols.
And the protocols. Because I know my previous site was very, very thorough. Maybe too much. Which is good for me for learning.
Good for you. Good for the patient. You know, good all around. Good job. Yes. We love thoroughness. But
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get on with today's episode. I think I don't know how long that's been. We can talk forever.
Yeah, I know.
So today's episode is just like a relaxed episode. It's a Q&A. I've posted questions, asking for questions on my stories, and Giselle shared them. And we got some questions, so we're going to go through the questions, and hopefully we'll be able to answer all of your questions. It won't be this one episode, so we have to do multiple episodes. So just tune in, and hopefully you can hear our answers to your questions.
Yes, you guys got us going with all these questions. There's a lot of them, and just keep them coming. You know, we love answering your guys' questions. That's what we're here for. That's what we strive for in our posts and on my YouTube channel, on her Instagram. Like, we just want to help you guys. So we felt like Q&As would be really fun to do, because we can just talk about them. And this is just us straight up being honest and real with you guys. We're not gonna like fluff it up. Like, this is real. So, you know. So,
all right.
Go with the first question.
First question. Do you have to have a COVID-19 vaccine to be a sonographer? Giselle, you go first. This is a great question to start, by the way.
Great question. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I was telling Lynn earlier about this question. Of course, it's controversial, the whole vaccine thing. But yeah, obviously, as a healthcare worker, in being in the healthcare field, majority of the time, almost all the time, they're going to require you to have certain things. They're going to require you to have certain vaccines. And one of them now being COVID-19 is most likely something that you're going to have to get if you want to become a sonographer. Now, you know, go ahead.
I feel, and it also depends on where you live. Like obviously
Mhm.
states are different.
Right.
I can't speak for other states, but I know New York is really tough and they mandate everything. And that was just a chaos.
Yeah, I saw. I mean, you see it in the news. I saw
Yeah.
New York.
How is
Um,
it? How is it for Las Vegas
yeah.
and
So
your state?
basically, all we can talk about is our
Yeah.
experience, where we live, and things like that. So for Las Vegas, at least, I remember they were wanting the mandate. Um, they wanted everyone to get it. Obviously, they encouraged everyone to get it, and the thing in the hospital was, I remember you had to get it, and if you couldn't get it, you had to just give them a reason why. So you had to have proof of documentation of getting the vaccine or proof of why you couldn't get the vaccine. So even though I don't know if that's like helpful, but basically you're encouraged and you have to get it or prove that you couldn't get it. So take with that what you will. I'm sure there's a lot of people who don't want the vaccine, which is fine. I mean, I'm all for you decide what you want to do, but in
Agreed.
the healthcare field, like there are things you have to get done um, in order to you're going to be surrounded by COVID patients, like 100%. Any person that goes into the healthcare field has to realize like you are in it, like people coming into those waiting rooms, you don't know who has it, and it's basically in the air. Just like everywhere though now, you know what I'm saying? Like we're honestly 2 years now later living with it. And yeah, just think about it, because a lot of students I saw in general, like they had to get it. Like in order to go to their clinical sites, they had to get the vaccine. So kind of think about it. If that's a game changer for you, you kind of have to think about getting into the medical field. Is this something you really want? You know?
Very well said. I totally agree. My school required me to get a vaccine. So I had to get a vaccine. I'm not against not getting vaccinated. I'm totally all for, everyone has their own opinion. You do you. You do what you feel right. I don't I just support your decision, whatever it is. So, but my school required it because our clinical sites required it because the state required it.
See where it goes back to. Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
comes back to,
Just
the
where you
government
live,
and yeah,
rules. There's rules for a reason,
rules,
right?
laws.
We're not controversial at all. We don't want to be controversial. We just want you guys to be informed that
Yes.
you will. Like the question is, do you have to have, like, you have to figure it out from your school, your place of work. I mean, and that will give you the real true answer. Like, do you have
Yes.
to? Like, have to? I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure there's people out there who are sonographers who don't have it. 100%. 100%. But
Yes. And especially with like the booster mandate, before I guess it lessened now. That was another, crazy, like from my clinical site, a lot of staff like had to get their booster last minute to make it to that deadline, which is I think is too crazy. I think it's like too extreme because right after that deadline, like everyone was like trying to get it.
yeah,
They lifted the mandate. So the
right
hospital
after.
was like, yeah. I'm like, this is crazy. It's just
Yeah.
I think sometimes they take it a little bit too far,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But back to the question, do you have to? Um, if you want a black and white answer, yes, because it is healthcare. But if you want like a gray area, depends on where you live. Definitely, there are non-vaccinated sonographers. There's vaccinated sonographers. It's just where you live, and you just see what is right for you.
Yeah, you guys do your research, do your own
Yeah.
research, and figure out what's best for you in your situation. Obviously you can message us if you have. I've had people message me with like questions, like personal stuff. So if you want to, you can message us and We
Yeah.
can go in depth, but it's just a general idea of like, when you go to school, you have to have vaccines and stuff, like,
Yes.
so, but to each his own for everyone.
Which I think I just thought of something. You
Mhm.
know, like the flu shot. I've never gotten a flu shot
Yeah,
until this program.
there you go.
So I'm like,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, and
It's just
I've gotten it all the time.
it's
Like,
just because my parents didn't know about it,
mhm.
like it's not required in the school, so we didn't have to get flu shot. But
Right.
mm,
Yeah. But
so
then like when
it's
you're a baby, like aren't there like certain shots that you have to get? Like,
for babies, yes.
yeah, there's like certain
Like
things.
chicken pox
Mm-hmm.
and MMR. Like I
Yeah.
definitely had to get those, or tetanus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
like I got my list somewhere. I don't know where it's at, but
I remember it because I had to for my clinical
oh,
clearance.
there you go. That was so long ago for me.
TB.
Yeah, all those things that you need, right? But
Mhm.
it's all a choice at the end of the day. You know, I feel like I just feel like no one's forcing, right? Even though I mean, because it's a mandate, but it's like you still choose at the end of the day if you're gonna go and get it.
Yes.
So, no, long topic, short story.
Yes.
Next question.
We try to condense it. What's the worst, grossest part of sonography and reasons why you wouldn't recommend it? Whoa,
Wow, you
that's
guys.
a loaded question.
Whoa, you guys are really digging in there. Hopefully, people tune in for these questions because it's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah.
You start. I started. You start.
Okay. What's the grossest part of sonography? So far, um, I haven't. I'm not easily grossed out. I think I'm more grossed out about people. I would say coughing in my face.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, think about how close you are to the patient. As a
Yes.
sonographer, we're very close.
Like I would say like feet or like bodily fluids. But I mean, I'm in the hospital. I was in the hospital. That's
Mhm.
normal for me. But people
Yeah.
coughing in my face and in my personal space, it's just.
Mm-hmm. You
But
feel their breath.
like,
You feel their breath on your skin.
or when they're trying to, it's just like certain sounds. But for me, that I can adjust to it just because I can't do
Right.
anything to change the setting I'm in. Like
Yeah.
when I had a patient, I was doing a carotid study on him. He coughed in my face the entire time, and his mask was like right here. Obviously inpatient, so they can't do much. So the next week, that same day, I bought a scrub cap
Mm-hmm.
to
I
protect
saw
my hair.
cute scrub.
Oh, thank you.
But
I got it on
that's what you did.
Etsy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't control the patient, but you can control your actions and what you do.
Yes. And I know for some people, like one of my classmates, she has a thing with feet. And we do PVR, which is ABIs. And I've seen the grossest feet, like textbook gross feet.
Yeah.
They actually don't gross me out. It's maybe the smell, but I was like had my N95 and then another mask, so it was okay. But I don't know, maybe she's going to my site next, and I warned her about the feet. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I've seen blood. I've seen bodily fluids. I'm like okay, surprisingly.
Yeah.
What about you?
I mean, it's pretty much the same. I mean, think about it though. You're doing vascular echo and stuff, and those are some of the things you see. As far as us in general, we see a lot of like, we do pelvics, so we see a lot of blood. We do testiculars, so we see a lot of swollen testicles, like humongous testicles that you've probably never seen before or expect to see. And we've seen like, the worst of what burns. I mean, like you have to scan people who have like there's open wounds and stuff, but you have to kind of like go around them. And then, like you said, smells like that's I feel like the worst and grossest part if you're in a
The
hospital.
smell?
Yeah, like because you are in there and you're trying not to breathe, but also do your job at the same time. And it's just honestly, it's what we deal with in the healthcare. So in the healthcare field, you're dealing with things like that. Now, if you work in an outpatient place, people walkie-talkie, they come in, they're not in the hospital for a reason. That's how you fix that issue. If you really can't handle working in the hospital setting, you work at the outpatient setting. But obviously, the work, like, it's just hard because there's a lot of like really hard and bad parts of sonography, honestly. So when you say worst part versus grossest part, two totally different things. Because there are a ton of things we can obviously talk about when it comes to the worst part of sonography. And there's so much, just like any career, any field, there's a lot of bad things. Sonography is not perfect. And it's a job that requires a lot from us as the person who takes images and we're not only just taking the images, there's so much more to it, right? Like getting the patient, getting their history, answering
Patient
all the
care.
questions. Yeah, patient care. They're hounding you with like, what's going on with me, right? So there's so much. But in terms of like, why we wouldn't recommend it, honestly, it's just if you really cannot handle the pressure and it's like it's a lot for one person to take on, but healthcare in general is a lot for someone to take on. So I honestly just wouldn't recommend it to somebody who doesn't see themselves doing this. Obviously, I tell people all the time, do you see yourself doing this every day? Do you see yourself taking images and taking care of patients? It's just in general a healthcare job. Do you see yourself doing that? Because it's more than just taking images. It's more than that, and that's why we do our videos and posts and stuff, because we want you guys to know it's way beyond taking pictures and pushing buttons. Why wouldn't you recommend it to somebody?
I wouldn't recommend it if you don't have the right mindset to go in it the first place. So it goes back to what you just said, Giselle, which is, do you see yourself doing it every single day for like 10 years? It's like, if you want to, for me as a student, I have a reason for doing this. And for those people who I've actually seen, like people in my school, students in my school who assume that sonography is easy, going in it for the money because online, this is the healthcare job that makes easy money. So if you're going in for it, it might not be for you because there's a lot more to it than just money, or that it's easy and it's healthcare and job security. Job security is there, but patience is the priority. And like Giselle said, patient care, bedside manner, that matters as much as how good your images are and how doctors would be able to diagnose based off your images. So those two comes hands in hand. So you just need to figure out if that is for you.
Yeah, I want to encourage you guys because I just did my 8,000 subscriber giveaway. Yay. And in the comment section, I asked you guys to choose or say why you chose sonography. And I encourage you guys who are questioning or curious to go over there and look at what people are saying. Like a lot of people are explaining why they chose sonography. And that's one of the biggest questions we ask people all the time. Why did you choose sonography? So think about why you want it. And honestly, like me and Lynn were talking about, we can never like do all these questions because we're always off on tangents when we talk about stuff. But like, there's so much we could talk about, and like,
oh my
obviously,
gosh,
this question we can talk about so much more and so much longer, but we only have so much time.
Yeah.
But like, just because there is a worst and a gross part of sonography, doesn't mean it's a bad job. Like, there's for every career, there's going to be stuff that makes it difficult and hard. And just like nursing, just like being a doctor, ultrasound has a lot of tough days. And I encourage you to just think about what you really want. And if you do your research, you can see out there all the bad stuff, all the good stuff, and figure out at the end of the day, do you see yourself actually dealing with the bad stuff? Because if you deal with the bad stuff, it makes the good stuff like that much better, right? Because you feel fulfilled from what you're doing. We're helping these patients. A lot of us do this because we want to be there, and someone helped us somewhere along our journeys, and that's why we chose it, and that's why we stick with it. You see a lot of sonographers who love their job,
Yes.
and there's a reason for it. Even though there's a bunch of bad stuff and like crazy stuff, and you're gonna see crazy stuff, and we deal with stressful things, and we are still like known as the easy, chill job, and it's so far from that,
Or like it's easy to become a sonographer,
right? And it's so hard, which is one of the other questions that we got, but we can't go over it today. So we hope you guys enjoyed this.
Yes, thank you so much for tuning in, and whenever you're listening to this, please don't forget to set your notifications, subscribe to Giselle's YouTube channel, rate us on Apple Podcasts. I'm trying to go on the list here.
So much stuff.
So much stuff. Leave us a review if you like. We love reading your reviews. We have 32 at the moment. We're still a neonatal podcast, but we really appreciate you for tuning in. We have so much fun doing this for you. We hope you're having fun doing this with us or listening to us. Thank you so much, Giselle, for waking up at 5 a.m.
No worries. Thank you so much for having me. And we really appreciate you guys. Lynn and I love doing what we do. We have fun with it. Yes, we're very, very busy. We both struggle sometimes to find some time to do this, but
like this week.
We keep on going and doing it because we have fun, And we know at the end of the day that you guys enjoy this, and that's all that really matters to us, I think.
Yes. And we love hearing your feedback. So send us a DM message saying what you think. And there's a form on our bios if you want to be a part of our guests. Fill out the form and we'll get back to you. And just so you know, we only went 2 questions on this Q&A. We have tons more. So stay tuned for next episode. We'll continue the series.
Yes. You guys, thank you for your support, and we'll see you guys next time. Talk to you soon.
Yes, have a good weekend. Have a good week. Until next time.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye. Feel better, Giselle.
Oh, thank you.